So we are here at the Mexico with Mike Shehan, SPOTX. How is the name you say it?
SPOTX.
SPOTX. Founder. You are the co-founder and CEO of SPOTX. How is it going here in New Mexico? What's your it's the second day. I think in some hours we will finish. What's your feeling about this fair and the presentation here?
Yeah, well, New Mexico is amazing. I came here 4 years ago for the first time. It's certainly bigger now. I think back then it was a little bit, at least my impression was it was a very German-oriented show. Then it became more of a European show as the years have gone on. I really feel like this year, though, it's an international, it's a global show. It's amazing. I mean, my voice is going because I'm literally talking, you know, 2 days straight. So it's a fantastic show, and it's just meeting after meeting after meeting, and deals get done here, which I really, really appreciate, and so I just love this show.
They say this is the biggest show, the biggest digital event, digital marketing, digital event in the world. Do you think there's another bigger one? I don't know, in the States? You are from the States, Denver?
No, and this couldn't happen in the States. This wouldn't happen in the United States. Yeah, I think it can only happen in Europe. So it is the biggest. I think, you know, maybe Cannes is similar. Maybe, I don't, maybe not as many people, but I kind of compare Cannes to like going to LA, Los Angeles. You know, you go to a few meetings here and there, it's spread out. This is like New York. You get, you know, 1 million meetings done in one day, so it's very productive.
Okay, you're a founder. I think this company is growing, no? Just recently, RTL, no, the big advertisement group, is also here in this fair. Let's make an investment in your company. Can you tell us something about this, please?
Yeah, so a year ago, actually last week, we completed and closed the deal with RTL. RTL Group, of course, is a large global media player. They own Fremantle, so they produce content all over the world. They're one of the largest broadcasters, or the largest broadcaster throughout continental Europe. I like to say they're kind of like the NBC of Europe. And for us, we wanted to do a deal with someone like RTL because two things. One, SPOTX, we want to get closer to broadcasters, the TV world. We know that's becoming more digital. And then we really wanted to get into Europe. And so with their dominance in Europe and in certain regions, they've really helped us expand. So our growth has been amazing over the last year, particularly as it relates to Europe. We opened an office earlier in the year, formed a JV in the Netherlands. So we started SPOTX Benelux. We have 15 people on the ground there. We opened our office in March in Hamburg in Germany. We've been in the UK for 4 years, but we just hired a new MD there as well. So, Europe is hard. It's very fragmented, but when you add it all up, there's tremendous scale. It's a very interesting market, but you have to know, you have to be patient, you have to be persistent, and you have to be, willing to invest. But it can pay off. But it's really paid off with RTL.
What about our market, the Spanish market? We are Spanish media.
Yes.
I think you have some plans about going to Spain or opening there more and doing more things. No?
Absolutely, we go there all the time. We are, looking at that market and growing that market from the UK right now. I think it's a very interesting market. I think it's obviously, especially over the last year, you can see that the video advertising and CPMs has rebounded quite well. So of course RTL has some a stake in a Trace as well down there. So it's a very interesting market. Our UK MD, or you say really kind of our MD of UK and Southern Europe. So this is absolutely, after focusing on Benelux and Germany, it's nice. We now get to focus on this really being our next market, Spain.
What is the reason you rebrand the name? What's the name before?
It was Spot Exchange, and now it's SPOTX. So not a huge rebrand, but we started the company in '07, and we operated an open marketplace. So large exchange. However, the industry's evolved quite a bit. Publishers have needed more ad-serving technology. It's gone beyond, say, the need of that it can serve from a traditional ad server. What we feel like we've built and evolved to from an open marketplace is really the modern ad server that allows publishers to combine all of these tactics, whether it be direct sales, traditional direct sales, but also doing programmatic direct, operating a private marketplace, or also tapping into an open marketplace. Instead of using multiple platforms for that, we bring that all together into one platform. So really the SPOTX name was really good for us early on, but I think it cornered us into people thinking we just were an open marketplace. SPOTX, we allow publishers to manage all of their video ad inventory cross screen. And so I think SPOTX is much more appropriate now.
Your main business is the programmatic buying, programmatic buying with publishers. No, the publishers is very publishers oriented. No, what you are doing.
Absolutely.
If I say it's correct, it's like this, no?
It is, and if you look at if you want to break up our business in terms of percentages, over 2/3 of the business is programmatic.
Okay.
What's interesting is our programmatic business a year ago was 100% in our open marketplace. In just 1 year, our private marketplace business has grown to 40% of the business. So private marketplace being a buyer and a seller working directly together, and that is, but using programmatic technology. So it's been a huge shift, which I think it's great, but we're perfectly positioned for that. But our server can also be used for traditional ad serving as well. But yes, you're right. We focus primarily on programmatic.
And you see it's a good business for Europe because it's growing, no?
Absolutely.
It's growing a lot, as you say, 40%. It's a good moment that is in this time, no? To start with this. But there's a lot of players. You're not the only player, no? There are a lot of competitive players, no?
Yes.
What's the main point, or where the good points your company has instead of others they don't have it? No?
Yeah.
Say something.
Yeah, of course. So it is what we focus on. Something nice about the RTL acquisition is they give us the resources we need.
Okay.
Right? So one thing they did is invested in a company called Clipped, which is an SSP for TV, for linear. So combining those two together allow us to compete and provide a solution to broadcasters for their linear and digital inventory. As opposed to, say, Facebook or Google, who are obviously these large companies that are very competent, have a lot of resources. But I think publishers appreciate our focus and appreciate our independence. And that is another nice thing about RTL, is that we're not RTL, we're SPOTX. And they allow us to do that. So we get the best of both worlds. We get the backing of a huge global media company with a lot of money, but we get to maintain and focus on what we do best. And I really do think publishers really appreciate that. And publishers don't always want to work with the big giant companies, because those big giant companies also compete with them for audience, data, etc. So I think we're just in a really good spot right now, and that's why our business is growing almost 100% year over year. Still, at such a large company, we're 260 people around the globe right now.
So the RTL deal is a very important deal for you and gives you a good push, no?
Yeah, we're very happy.
Okay, what's about the new in-content ad unit? No, you have a new ad unit. Can you tell us something? Because I think this is one of the products or services you are presenting here in this fair, no? In Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing is, obviously, we focused on in-stream for a long time, pre-roll, etc., in-game. The in-content unit is a unit that plays in what would be traditionally like an article you're reading, right? But we haven't been able to work with those types of publishers. We've always worked with video publishers. So I think representative of this move as SPOTX, the SPOTX, SPOTX being a modern ad server for all video advertising. This unit allows us to work with newspapers, magazine publishers, and really allow them to start to tap into brand dollars that come with the video ad dollars. But again, more of the play is us providing them a platform to be able to sell their own inventory or tap into our open marketplace or execute programmatically. But it's a unit that sits in an article It only shows when the screen and plays when the unit is in view, so it's highly viewable, and it pays really well to the publishers. So I think it works for both publishers and advertisers, and I think it's going to be a huge growth business for us because it opens up a whole new market for us.
What do you think about the critic and programmatic advertising that they say the stuff they are selling is not a good quality? It's more the low cost. What do you think about this? It's one of the problems of the industry. You listen sometimes. Also another problem is the ad blockers. Every year we see more ad blockers. Also here in this fair we see the company from Cologne. They are here and with you all together making the blogging of your business.
Sure.
So what do you think is coming in this direction? What your feeling? So your opinion about problems?
I mean, I think two things. If I look at the industry overall, consumers are moving to digital. They're consuming more content, whether it be video content or articles. And that content is being consumed on mobile devices and desktop and connected TV. And that's not shrinking, that's growing dramatically. The dollars that are moving towards digital video are also growing. So those two things are true. Ad blockers, sure, they cut into the overall pie, but actually I always believe people should have a choice on how you want to consume content, but you do have to pay for it, and I think that's what's missing from the conversation is, well, there has to be some value exchange, and I think that's what's missing from the ad blockers is that, sure, the value is going to the ad blocking company, but it's not being shared back with the publisher who is spending to produce the content, etc. So I think that's the next evolution of that conversation. But then if those that are left over are the ones that are choosing not to do ad blocking or saying, I will watch the ad so I can get to the content, I think that's a higher quality audience, and that's it's just a better discussion to have, and just I think a higher quality environment.